Hello and welcome to When I Knew You. This is an old visual novel. I say old because this is the author of What It Feels Like's first visual novel. And the story is at least a little bit connected to What It Feels Like, mostly because of the setting and one specific character, which you will eventually see, hopefully. As you may be able to tell, the art style is a little bit different. Very different, because again, this is the author's first thing that they ever did. So, yeah. As far as I know, it is about this specific character that you see here, returning to their hometown with their father after something happened. What that is, I don't know. But considering that the mother doesn't appear to be in the picture, it might have to do with them. Upon returning to their hometown, they end up finding that things have changed and that the friends that they used to know have also changed. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I can tell you because that's pretty much all that I know about. But yeah, anyways, so what else? Like I said, it is kind of related to What It Feels Like, again, only because of one character, and the setting is Pricefield. So if you have been keeping up with What It Feels Like, then you know who that character might be. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, and without further ado, let us begin When I Knew You. Also, I guess I should put like a content warning because it does deal with some things. So yeah, some not so good things. Hey bud, wake up. We're almost there. I blink awake, my vision being greeted by the seemingly never-ending forest of trees next to the freeway. Heavy metal rock music plays from the radio, though very faintly, since the volume's turned almost all the way down. I sit up, my neck aching like hell as I turn to my dad. What time is it? Almost 5. We'll be there in 15 minutes, top. I nod, and the nervous, stirring feeling in my stomach returns. I had forgotten about it for a while because, well, I was asleep. But now it's back, with as much force as it was when I first got in the car. Staring out the window, I try to clumsily control my breathing as I anticipate what is to come. Soon, in 15 minutes to be exact, I'll be back in my old home, back to the old spots that I used to go to, and back to the place where I grew up. Back to the friends that I used to have. I dry my hands on my lap and look out the window, my guts feeling like a roller coaster. I must have been pretty obvious about it, because Dad speaks up again. You doing okay? I look over at him and nod, straining a smile. Just a little nervous is all. He hums an acknowledgement, something he does often, I've noticed. Well, this is all pretty sudden after all. Normal for you to feel that way. What with school and settling in so soon, I'm sure it's a lot for you right now. I nod, looking back at the scenery. Seems like Pricefield's only 2 miles away now. Yeah, and there's the guys too. Oh, your old buddies, right? Have they changed much? He goes quiet for a moment, staring at the road ahead. Then he turns and smiles at me. Sure they have. Marcus is built like a truck now. He laughs and I stifle a smile, my heart skipping a beat. Really? Marcus? I mean, I knew he'd grow up to be tall, but buff too? Now this I gotta see. Yeah, and what about David and the others? His laugh dies down into a cough, nodding in response. You'll see them when we get there. Huh? Like, right when we get there? Yeah, I didn't tell you. No? Shit, I think it was a surprise. My pulse picks up at least 2 more paces. Are they waiting for us to get home? He sighs, defeated. No. They said that they'd be in the sanitary at 6:30, so you could meet them there. Oh, yeah. I take a deep breath and let it out, my mouth suddenly really dry. I mean, I did half expect to see them tonight. Maybe they'd stop by as I was unpacking, or so I had thought. I didn't think that I'd have to go meet with them. That's all the more nerve-wracking. Dad once again hums and pats my leg awkwardly for comfort. They're really excited to see you two, bud. I smile through the nerves, nodding more to myself than to him. Looking up, I see that the usual greenery is slowly being replaced with shops and small buildings. Looks like we're here, huh? I mean, yeah. Yes. Dad chuckles again. Stepping inside the house was like a punch to the face, but in a sort of good way. I'm not like a masochist, I swear. The smell is the first thing that really gut punched me at first, flooding back old memories in waves and waves. It's only been 4 years, which in paper I guess doesn't seem like much. But well, I was almost 14 when I moved out. 4 years is a long time for a teenager, I realize. I walk further inside, noticing that the house has gone through a couple of changes, some I can't quite put my finger on. A big one is the walls, which are completely different color. As I'm staring around, Dad walks in with some of my luggage and smiles big at me. Like the new color? I'm guessing you picked it out? That means you hate it, doesn't it? I laugh and shake my head. It's a nice color. I just, well, maybe it doesn't go well with the one outside. He sighs dramatically and drops my luggage on the floor, rubbing his forehead. You're killing me, Cal. You're killing your old man, you know that. I try apologizing through laughs, but he's already out the door, comically slouching, completely defeated. After unpacking and sitting in my room, soaking in the nostalgia, I go downstairs to Dad cooking. Oh, are we gonna eat dinner now, or... Oh no, I'm just making us something to pack up for tomorrow. Oh. Mom didn't make me lunch for school, ever. Thanks? You don't have to, though. I mean, I'm 99% sure that there's a cafeteria at school. He just waves me off. It's for me too, Cal. If it's a problem with my cooking... No, you're a chef. I know that. He makes a my point hand gesture and continues to add vegetables to a pan. Anyway, don't you have somewhere to be? I fidget a bit, my pulse quickening again. Kicking me out so soon? Yes, quit stalling, you'll be late. He makes a shoo-shoo gesture without turning to look at me. Fine. Alright, fine, I'm going. But I'm taking my bike. Oh wait, you still have it, right? Please tell me that you still have it. Sure do. Now there's no excuse to be late for school, either. Yeah, I get it. I'm leaving. Be safe. Have fun. Thank you. Biking through town felt strange, to say the least. On one hand, this is where I grew up. I know these streets, the people who live in these houses, everything really. And yet, I can't help but feel like a foreigner, an intruder in these roads. Like I'm not really welcome back after all. Maybe because it's been so long that I feel everyone's forgotten about me. Kinda like I was exiled. I laugh at the thought of a mob chasing me out of town with pitchforks. The witch was burned at the stake, and here he is again, by the power of dark magic. Well, dark magic and a shitty parent. As a familiar scene of the middle of town comes into view, my palms start to slide off the rails and I pedal slower. I'm not gonna lie, I'm fucking terrified. I mean, I know that we used to be super close, but I don't know just how much they've changed. I've definitely changed, so no doubt that they did too. What if we don't like each other anymore? No, that's pushing it. It's not like they're whole different people. I'm sure Karina and Troy still hate each other. Marcus probably is still a nerd. And I'm sure David's still. No, that's just wishful thinking. My bike comes to a halt in front of a diner, the same rusty old sign at the entrance. The smell of syrup and burgers fills the air, but honestly, I feel like I'm gonna throw up right about now. I see some people inside, but I can't really make them out, and I'm also trying desperately not to look their way. Well, here goes everything. The chime of the door rings through the air as I step inside, drowning out the sound of my oh so loud heartbeat. The group of people seated at the booth stop their chatter, and now I fully see them. It's them. It's my old friends. They all turn to me, their faces twisting in surprise as they see my face. My mind goes absolutely blank, yet I still raise my hand and give them a small, nervous wave. Hi, Callum! They rush over to hug me, one by one, until they all piled on me, squeezing me tightly. No, guys, you're squishing me. With one last squeeze, they let go. Wide smiles plastered all over their faces. Aw man, it's been way too long. You haven't changed a bit. I haven't. Karina smacks Troy in the back of the head, making him yelp. He's just messing with you. You're like a whole man now. This makes Troy and Marcus chuckle, though it only gets them another mean glare from Karina. I mean, I guess Total Man is kinda pushing it. I'm like 5'6", last I checked anyway. Thanks, Karina, but you... Ugh, Tanya's giving us that look again. Better sit down before she throws another egg at us. I smile as the image of Tanya hurtling an egg from the kitchen at Troy flashes through my mind. In her defense, though, Troy was being super loud. Pretty sure he was singing some rock song at the top of his lungs. Once we're all seated, I finally get a good look at all of them. God, you two are tall. Troy and Marcus both grin stupidly from ear to ear, clearly proud of this fact. Yep. I sure lucked out in the gene pool. Glad that I took after Gramps instead of my parents. This guy, though, he was always destined to be a skyscraper. Oh, for sure. I just didn't expect him to be so... big. Marcus smiles wider, puffing up his chest. Well, guess I just got tired of being scrawny. I swear he almost flexes a muscle as he looks at me, as if looking for approval. I nod encouragingly. Oh yeah, weren't we all? Troy practically guffles, while Marcus glares at me playfully. Yeah, now who's a scrawny one, Callie? Troy? Hey, dude, I was on your side. There are sides? I thought this was a free-for-all kind of thing. Actually, there are sides, and it's you and me versus these two. Karina hugs me tightly, smooshing my cheek against hers. Ever since you left, all I've had is the guys, and they stink. Like, literally all the time. Hey, that's just Troy. I always put deodorant on. I'm the one who stinks, you're the one who's sweating all day. Yeah, but you're the one who forgets to shower. I don't forget. I just choose not to. How is that better anyway? It's not. I'm just correcting you. See what I mean? It's hell. But even Satan himself at least puts some cologne on. I pat Karina's arm apologetically, while Troy and Marcus sniff each other, swearing that it's the other that stinks. Damn, I really did miss them. Seeing them here, being themselves, being this close. It's like all my worries disappear once I'm around them, just like it's always been. But something's not quite right. By the way, where's David? They all tense up and freeze, looking at me like I made an unfunny joke. What? Karina slowly lets go of me, and I turn to look at her, my heart sinking. Cal. David ran away 6 months ago. What? My face goes cold and my stomach drops to my knees. I look at the other two for confirmation, but they're avoiding my looks. Their faces a mask of emotions that I can't quite put together. What do you mean that he ran away? Why would he... We don't know, but he just didn't show up to school one day, and... When they checked his house, his parents said a lot of his stuff had gone missing from his room. The police came and, well, they put two and two together. I blinked at them, processing everything that I just heard. What the hell? What the hell? He just packed his things up and left town? Why the fuck would he do that? Karina pulls me in for a hug, rubbing my back as I soullessly hug her back. I'm sorry, hun. You must have been expecting to see him again. Did your dad not tell you anything? I shake my head, a bit too overwhelmed to speak up. Actually, why didn't my dad say anything? That's kind of fucked up. It is, isn't it? Troy, come on, man. I'm sure Mr. Diaz had his reasons. Troy doesn't say anything, instead opting to play with some sugar packets from the table. After about a minute or two of silence, I pull away from Karina's embrace and sit up, composing myself. 3 pairs of eyes fall on me, in worry and in expectancy. I take a deep breath and let out a wobbly sigh. Well, we kinda always expected it, huh? They all sort of murmur in agreement. Guess we just didn't think that it'd be so soon. And none of you have heard from him? Their shaking heads and soft no's answer my question. Knowing David, though, he's probably somewhere in Vegas, making millions. We all chuckle a bit at the thought. David's more than capable of doing that, I think. Silence falls on us again for a moment until Marcus speaks up. I'm just thankful that you're here again, Cal. We might not all be here, but, well, if you came back to us, who's to say David won't too, right? I give him a grateful smile. He always did know how to cheer someone up. Yeah, he's right. Plus, now that you're here again, who knows? Maybe word will get out and he'll come running back to see you. True. He'll drop all his poker chips to come and see his favorite twink. Yeah, maybe. Thanks, guys. You're right. Besides, I'm sure that he's doing well anyway, right? They all agree, nodding enthusiastically. And with that, we slowly start to talk about ourselves again. Although there was still a gross feeling in my stomach, I didn't even order anything. We decide to chat all the same. I decide that it'd be best to ask for more details when we had more time, and focus on catching up with them for now. Get this, Cal. Marcus is in the football team. What? And here's the kicker. He's captain of the football team, quarterback and everything. I'm sorry? I look at Marcus in astonishment, his eyes avoiding my gaze. Yeah. Didn't I say that I was tired of being scrawny? This is just part of that. One thing's being, I don't know, not scrawny, and another thing is turning into a jock. That explains the varsity jacket. Trying to impress girls, are you? Even if he wasn't trying, it'd still work. Half the cheerleading squad wants this guy. I bet. Does that mean that you have a girlfriend? No, no girlfriend, nah. The 3 of us kinda just look at him. What? I'm just too busy. You guys know that. Uh-huh. Sure. Wait, I'm so confused. Of course you are. What? Anyway, Cal, I may be captain of the team, but guess who's captain of the cheerleading squad? I don't know, Vanessa? She was always kind of extra, you know? Troy snorts and Karina leans on the table to stare at me blankly. I blink at her and then it clicks. What? You? Yes, me. Why is that so surprising? Um, you never liked cheerleaders. In fact, I distinctly remember you saying that you hated them. When I was like, what, 10? Of course I did. Every tomboy does. But as you can see, she flips her hair in a girly, cheesy fashion. I've outgrown that phase. Clearly. I mean, wow, you're literally gorgeous. Karina smiles, clearly flattered, while Troy started hooting at us, though at who specifically I'm not sure. Why, thank you, Callum. Glad someone finally complimented me. She hugs me again, all the while glaring daggers at the other two. What do you mean? Have they, never told you that? That's insane. It is, isn't it? Troy and Marcus avoid both our gazes now, shamefully so. It's not like we don't think you're pretty, it's just... It'd be creepy coming from us. You'd probably punch me and don't say that you wouldn't, Kay. He turns to me, pointing at her. Just the other day, she kicked me because I said her hair smelled nice. Because you don't say that to a girl, idiot. You do, however, tell her that she's pretty. But you don't talk to girls, that's right. Can't hold that against you. You, though, no excuse. She points at Marcus, who's idly sipping his milkshake, as if this conversation didn't concern him. Don't me, you himbo. It's just... I feel weird saying it, I don't know. You're like a sister to me. Did David ever call Lupe pretty? Not once ever. See? I'm gonna punch you in the face. There's just no winning with her, Cal. As Karina wrestles with Marcus for a bit, I take one of Troy's fries, nibbling on it. So, what's up with you? What about me? I mean, what do you got going on? Not much. I'm not like student council president or anything. Right, didn't really think so. Hey, I could if I wanted to. I know. Good thing that you don't though. Who knows what kind of rules that you'd endorse? Probably something basic like no homework forever. Your campaign would be teachers are lame with a Z. Of course, with a Z. By now, Karina seems to get a good hit on Marcus, since he's rubbing the top of his head when he turns his attention to me. And you, Cal? What's been up with you? Make any friends over at Philly? I play around with the straw wrapper, twirling it around my finger. Nah, not really. Just, people that I talk to or say hi to from time to time. Kinda just felt like I was waiting to leave that place, I guess. They're quiet for a moment, not really sure how to respond. Well, I'm glad that it came sooner rather than later. Even if it's not because of, the best of things. Yeah, we're really happy that you're back. Believe it or not, you're definitely my favorite twink. Well, real twink. Thanks, guys. I'm really glad that I'm back too. And as the sun sets on the familiar town, we fall silent again, and I don't mind that one bit. It's fully dark when we finally start to leave, even though I didn't really want to go yet. But they all insisted that I rest, and that we'll see each other tomorrow. Anyway, so we all decide to get on our way. Troy and Karina had said their goodbyes and left, leaving me and Marcus alone at the entrance. Do you, want to ride home? You have a car? Truck, actually. Wow, you really are a jock, huh? He stretches involuntarily, flexing his chest. Yup, Marky is no more. You'll always be little old Marky to me, don't worry. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Besides, you've never been taller than me. What do you mean, little? It's just how I see you, tiny little boy. Tiny. Small little boy with that Pokemon binder. Ugh, don't remind me. He looks up at the night sky, probably remembering that little phase. When you gave me that shiny card for my birthday, man, I thought that I was gonna cry right there and then. Ah, oh yeah, I was so proud. You really love that Pokemon. I still do. Gengar, my beloved. Beloved. Well, let's get going. Don't want to make your dad worry on your first day back. Oh, yeah, true. So with one swift motion, he mounts my bike in the trunk of his car, and then we were off. Looking out the window, the sinking feeling that I had comes back as my worries resurface. There's still a lot that I don't know, and well, I'd like to get the full story. For some reason, I feel like I'd rather talk to Marcus about this than anyone else, like he'd give it to me straight. Sucking in some air, I turn to him, his eyes lock on the road ahead. Hey Marcus? Yeah? Did you see him? Before he left? His expression tells me nothing, the glow of the streetlights illuminating his stoic face periodically. Nah, not really. It was all just very sudden. So what, he just disappeared? Yep, pretty much. I sink into the seat, unsatisfied. I may not have been here for a while, but that really doesn't sound like something that he'd do. You don't think that maybe something happened to him? Like someone hurt him? He goes quiet for a moment, though I don't think that he's pondering his response. It crossed my mind at first. And he lets out a long, stressed sigh. Cal, David hadn't been the best state of mind when he left. What? I can't really get into all that right now, but maybe some other time. My point is, him leaving out in the blue wasn't really out of character. He looks over at me and his stoic expression softens into one of concern, seeing how much this new information affected me. I promise I will tell you. I know it's a lot, but that's just how things are right now. Nothing that we do is going to change the fact that he left. His glossy eyes turn back to stone, giving all his attention to the road. Leaving out of the blue wasn't out of character? Just what kind of person did he become? Marcus pulls up to my dad's, well, I guess my house, the deadly silence all too deafening. Thanks. For the ride. Of course. I can feel him hesitate, as if he wants to say something, but he deflates, gripping the steering wheel. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, he puts his hand on my thigh, patting it slowly. I know that you're probably overwhelmed right now. None of us really saw it coming, and it sucked for a while. But it was his decision. Maybe a bit irrational, but David's not stupid. I'm sure that he will come back someday. So just try not to worry too much, okay? We've got you back here. With us. Soon we'll go off to college and go our separate ways. So let's try and enjoy the moments that we have together, okay? I soak in everything that he's saying, mulling it over in my head. It does suck that David's not here, but like he said, there's not much that we can do about it now. And after all is said and done, it was his choice to leave, wasn't it? I look up at his big green eyes, a soft light in the otherwise dark truck. As if on its own, my hands reach for his, taking in his large one in both of mine. I squeeze it softly, and after a moment, he reciprocates this gesture. I know. I get it. It's just a lot right now, you know? But thank you. I really appreciate that you're trying to make me feel better. Of course. I'm really happy to see you again. I flush, his eyes piercing my soul and his voice touching my heart. Strange. Maybe it's just my weird state of mind, but I suddenly feel really shy. Or maybe it's because I'm holding hands with my old best friend in a dark car. Who, why not admit it, is really hot right now. Either way, I look away from him, now really self-conscious. Me too. I'm happy to be back. He gives me a smile that I am not sure whether to describe as warm or hot. I think either one would work, really. I'll see you tomorrow then. Yeah, see you tomorrow. We stay like that for a moment, his big hand wrapped in both of mine, until he pulls it away, snapping me out of my stupid trance. Yeah. Goodbye. See ya. I awkwardly climb out of his truck and rush inside, wiping my hands on my jeans as I do. The lights are still on when I enter, my dad sitting on the couch watching some family game show. Seeing me step inside, he sits up and gives me a tired smile. Hey kiddo, how'd it go? It was fine. Good, actually. I was really happy to see them again. His smile strains as he nods. Good. I'm glad. His demeanor was odd at first, but after about a second, it makes perfect sense. Dad? Hmm? Why didn't you tell me anything? He deflates, sighing as he pinches the in-between of his eyes together. He's quiet for a moment as I stand there waiting for an answer, an explanation. Finally, he gives it to me. I don't know. Everything was happening so quickly. We hadn't spoken in a while, and I didn't want our first conversation to be bad news. Then, when it was finally official that you'd be staying with me, I'd figured that I'd tell you then, but I guess I never really got around to telling you. I'm sorry, Callum. I know how much that boy meant to you, back when you were little. Well, younger. You guys weren't that little. Point is, I should have told you sooner. Seeing him so distraught about not being able to tell me actually makes me believe everything that he's saying. He even apologized and everything. That's more than I ever got from Mom. He's still Dad after all. I awkwardly sit next to him and give his back a small, reassuring pat. It's okay, Dad. I get. It's been a lot. For the both of us. Seems like that's my favorite phrase lately. Dad gives me something of a sideways hug, squeezing me. How are you holding up? I'm okay, I guess. David always said that he was gonna leave town one day, so I can't say that I'm too shocked. I just wish that we could have all been together right now. It just sucks, you know? Yeah, I know, kid. So we stay like that, in an awkward yet oddly comforting hug, on my first night living with my dad. Once I'm back in my room, trying to get used to the new smell, I allow myself to think about everything that's happened. Living with Dad, seeing the guys again, that moment with Marcus. Man, he's changed. He used to be such a sweet, cute boy, but in a really serious way. He was always light and fun with us, though, but with other people, not so much. And now he seems more cheerful, more confident too. But I can't help but feel that he's still got a bit of that darkness, that stone-faced coldness. And then there's Troy, who hadn't really changed all that much, except for how tall he is. Karina being bimbofied in the best way was definitely a shock, though. She was always pretty, but in a I don't really care kind of way. Now, she totally knows that she's pretty and owning it. Then there's David. God, David, why'd you have to leave in the worst possible time? If it really is true that you left. I guess I still don't fully believe that he left on his own accord. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. In any case, tomorrow's a new day with my old friends at a new high school. It'll be the last year that we might all be together for a while. So I'll enjoy it to the fullest. Even if I really hate first days of school. I'm fully awake well before 6 a.m., dressed and ready, sitting on my bed and staring at my wall. I was never the type to sleep in on weekends, but I'm also not a fan of waking up early. Still, I'm wide awake now, anxiously waiting for an appropriate time to leave for school. Geez, I literally just got here, Why do I have to go to school, like, right away? Give me at least a week to get settled in or something. Welp, might as well make something to eat. Coming out of my room, I already hear noises coming from the kitchen. Dad? I call out to him, not too loud because, well, it's really early and I don't have the energy to yell. Cal, you're up already? I now step into the kitchen, seeing that he's taking out pots and pans to start cooking. Do you need any help? He waves me off, seemingly too focused on his craft. Nah, you can't cook like I can. Sit down and it won't be too long. I was about to argue that I probably could, in fact, cook just as good as he can, but decide against it. As weird as it feels to have someone else cook for me, I'm not about to reject this food. Besides, whatever Dad makes right now would obviously be better than whatever I would have made. So I sit down, watching him crack eggs in one pan and fry bacon in another. This is actually kinda nice. If it weren't the crack of dawn and I didn't need to go to school, this would be super relaxing. Unfortunately though, as the sun keeps rising, so does my anxiety. So, first day of school? You holding up? Barely. You'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? Well, don't jinx it. Huh. I'm serious though. Realistically speaking, what's the worst thing that could happen today? I think about it for a moment. I get beat up? Realistically, Callum, it could happen. I highly doubt that. Fine. Probably get stared at. No, wait. Having to introduce myself in front of class? For every class? Well, that isn't too bad, is it? It's pretty bad. Well, at least you've got your old pals there. That's better than going alone, don't you think? I guess that's true. I just hope that we have some classes together. I'm sure you will. Pricefield ain't that big. You guys gonna hang out again today? Not sure. We didn't make any plans to, at least. But I do want to visit Lupe after school. Remind me again who that is? She's David's little sister, Dad. She would play with us all the time too, remember? Ah, yeah. There was always a little girl following you bunch around, that's right. Always felt a little bad for her. You guys never let her play any games. I fiddle with my thumb in guilt. Yeah. We always thought of her as David's annoying little sister. Guess it didn't help that he would call her that too. So you want to go make amends or something? Not really my initial intention, but I could do that. So what was your initial intention? I look down at my already uneasy fingers, twirling about. Truth is, as much as I'd like to fool even myself and say that I'm going to see her purely because I miss her, that's not really the whole truth. Even so, that's exactly what I tell Dad. Duh, cause I miss her. I won't see her in school, so might as well pay her a visit. He eyes me over as if questioning the validity of my claim. But without another word, he serves our breakfast into 2 plates and sets them on the table, one in front of me. Well then, you tell her folks that I said hi for me. Will do. Also thank you. For breakfast. Thank me after you tried it. So I do try it. The eggs, bacon, and toast stacked on each other like an unfinished sandwich. I take a bite out of it, the runny yolk falling onto the plate. I'm always surprised at how many ways someone could fry an egg, or rather how different it tastes depending on who cooks it. The egg Dad made is much softer, more evenly cooked than anything that I could have made. Covering my mouth, I muffle out an embarrassed, "Thank you," and he gives me a proud nod. With the sun mostly out, lazily making its way towards the top of the orange-blue sky, I step into the garage, ready to bike to the school. It's only then that I realize that I did not, in fact, ever take it down from the back of Marcus's truck. Just as I'm beginning to worry that I'll have to ask Dad for a ride, 2 short beeps catch my attention. Cal? Dad calls out to me from the living room. I think your buddy Marcus is outside. My heart skips a beat and I sigh in relief. With no time to question my irregular heartbeat, I rush into the living room to go out to the front door. Thought you were biking to school. I left it in his truck last night. Dad just shakes his head. You better thank that boy properly then. Gas ain't cheap. Though I doubt that he'd accept your money. I'll find a way to repay him, don't worry. My mind thinks up several ways that I could repay him, but I quickly shake away the thought. Geez, it's 7 in the morning, Cal. Okay, bye, see you later. Be safe. I rush outside to the familiar truck that I saw last night, with Marcus promptly waiting in the driver's seat. The passenger windows roll down, so I go up to it, the truck so tall that the bottom of the window reaches my chin. I place my hands there and rest my chin on it, and he gives me a small smile. Hey. Hi. You left your bike in my truck. That I did. Need a ride? That I do. Well, hop on then. That I will. I swing the door open and hurl myself up as Marcus leans forward, casually waving at my dad behind me. Once I'm seated, I look over to see Dad at the door and I wave at him too. And with the change of gears, Marcus and I make our way to the school. Hope your dad doesn't mind that I'm picking you up. Why would he mind? He chuckles nervously, avoiding my gaze by turning left. I might have made him mad. Once. What? How? My mind tries to think of what could A, make my dad mad, and B, Marcus do to elicit such a reaction. Thankfully, I don't have long to wait to find out, because after an embarrassed groan from him, Marcus speaks up. I may or may not have TP'd his office building last year. I'm sorry? Okay, look, it sounds worse than it is. You're gonna elaborate on that? Do I have to? You kinda do. Fine. It was last year. Some of the guys from the team got really drunk and so did I. It was Halloween, mind you. He turns to me expectantly, as if worried that I'll judge him, but I just nod encouragingly. So yeah, we got drunk, some guy wanted to TP places, and we called him cringe. But we ended up doing it anyway, so guess we were all cringe. Anyway, guess I really was out of it to notice where exactly we were TPing, cause next thing that I knew, your dad's office building was completely covered. Oh god. Yeah, well, seems like your dad forgot something, cause he was pulling up to the office. So me and the guys ran away, but I'm pretty sure that he saw me. I don't know, I had a mask on. But yeah, I think your dad hates me. As bad as I feel for Dad having his workplace covered in toilet paper, the image of Marcus being caught red-handed is just way too funny. I try hard to look angry as I cross my arms at him, holding in my laughter in the back of my throat. Since he's mostly looking at the road, he buys it, and his expression immediately turns apologetic. Listen, I totally apologize. I mean, I sent him a little basket to his office, and I made the whole team sign it. Plus Not being able to hold it anymore, I burst out laughing, winning me a completely bewildered look from him. You TP'd my dad's office and sent him a fruit basket? It wasn't a fruit basket. It was muffins. And that's better how? You know, something tells me that you're not actually mad at me for this. I suck my cheeks in so that my smile won't show. I'm furious. He glances at me, and with his eyes back on the road, his right hand grabs both of my cheeks, squeezing me to get my mouth open. Say that again. I try pushing his hand away between cries and giggles, but it's no use. Action? Okay. Mercy. He lets go and switches gears as I massage my cheeks. He's smirking like an idiot, eyes still on the road as I glare at him. He gives me a side-eye glance and he grins even wider. Oh, now I'm definitely pissed. I didn't even squish that hard. Maybe not for your standards. KKKKK my ass. Although my cheeks kinda burn, I'm thankful for the distraction that we had from my first day of school jitters. Too bad nothing lasts forever. Hey, do you know what my schedule looks like? Sorta. We have a lot of the same classes. My face starts to break into a stupid smile, but I catch myself before it fully does. Oh? Well, that's good. Yep. I think it's because I mentioned that you were coming to my coach, and he told the counselor. She was probably too lazy to make something unique for you, so they just copy-pasted my schedule and wrote your name on it. Makes sense. Looks like I'll be following you around for a while. Sorry if I third wheel on you trying to flirt with girls. What makes you think that I'd flirt with girls? Or anyone for that matter? I don't know. Why wouldn't you? You're like, hot now. He doesn't answer, so I turn to look at him, and it's only then that I realize just what I said. His face, although appearing to be stoic, is slowly turning red, the corners of his mouth twitching up. I, however, turned red instantly. What I meant by that was... So you think I'm hot now? He smirks at me with all the confidence in the world, which could have fooled me had he not been blushing so hard. Still, he flipped the tables, and that's enough to catch me off guard. No, I don't think you're hot. I'm just saying that other girls probably think that you're hot. Hey, there's no shame. You called Karina gorgeous yesterday, yet you can't call me hot and own up to it. That's completely different. Shut up. Thankfully, he does shut up, since we're pulling up to the school now. I've only seen Pricefield High a couple of times in my life. Karina's older brother was in the basketball team, so she would get dragged to watch his matches. So she would drag us to go with her to keep her sane. We would eat so much junk food. Anyway, I've only seen a couple of hallways in the gym, not well enough to fully remember. So seeing it now with the promise of actually going inside as a student is pretty exciting. Terrifying, but exciting. The building is a lot bigger than I remember, but also not as big as my high school back in Philly. Although the paint looks pretty old, the structure seems as good as ever, no visible cracks or anything. Lots of students are making their way inside, more than I had expected, and I get increasingly more nervous. Marcus pulls up to the mostly empty parking lot, pulling the handbrake and setting his truck on neutral. A quick thought crosses my mind as I should remember to get my license soon, but I'm pulled back into reality as Marcus slaps his thigh loudly. Well, we're here. Yep. Nervous? Yep. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Plus, you'll be with me most of the time, remember? Well, true. If you're nervous about getting, made fun of or something, remember that you got a jock as a friend now. No one's gonna mess with you, promise. Self-proclaimed jock, huh? Hey, you said it first. Well, I trust you, though I don't think that I'll fit in with your other jock friends. Maybe, but they're nice enough to not make you feel awkward. Well, some of them at least. I'm prepared for the "are you gay" questions, don't worry. Then you have nothing to worry about. Yay. He gives me a reassuring smile and we both pile out of the truck. I start following Marcus to the school, staying close behind him as I adjust my book bag. He notices me staying behind and he motions for me to come to his side. I jog up to him, embarrassed. Come on, stick with me. I am. Well, you're not my bodyguard. Stick with me, not behind. I grumble some reluctance, but stay by his side anyway. An impulse to hold his hand runs through me, but obviously I don't do that. Instead, I keep my eyes peeled for Troy and Karina, or any other familiar faces as we step inside the white halls. Actually, people don't really pay me any mind. Some curious looks here and there, but overall I'm practically invisible even with the captain of the football team right next to me. There are some people I recognize who, when they look at me, recognize me right back, their eyes widening just a bit. However, that's as far as the interaction goes. As not horrible as this is, I'm still extremely self-conscious and I find myself looking down more often than I'd like. I don't really want to be perceived as a shy kid on my first day. Marcus lays a hand on my shoulder and I look up at him, matching his pace. We're still pretty early. I'll show you where your locker is and then we could go to... Yo, Marcus. We both turn around to the voice calling him and Marcus makes an ugh sound when we see him. Coming towards us is a tall, jonkish cheetah, though he falls short in both build and height compared to Marcus. He's much skinnier, but upon closer inspection his arms seem to be more toned. Guess he hit the gym more. He walks up to us with a goofy yet friendly smile on his face, acknowledging the both of us with a small nod. Yo, what's the rush? No rush, just going to show Cal his locker. Are you seriously not going to introduce us? Marcus lets out an annoyed sigh and gestures towards a cheetah to me. Cal, this is Baxter. He's on the team, and we're friends, I guess. You guess? I guess. Baxter rolls his eyes and turns his attention to me, giving me a charming smile. Sup, Cal? Heard you used to live here. Yeah, I did. I moved like 4 years ago. Ah, I see. Well, you haven't missed too much. Except my friends becoming adults. And one of them leaving. Marcus has told me a lot about you. He has? I look at him curiously, but he just glares at Baxter. What about? Baxter doesn't answer me, instead smiling wide at Marcus. If looks could talk, Baxter is definitely saying, should I tell him? A lot is an overstatement. It is an understatement, isn't it? Overstatement, idiot. Anyway, Cal, hope to see you around. We should hang out sometime. Just you and me. My face flushes and I give him a polite nod. Sure. Sounds good. With one last grin directed at Marcus, he turns to walk away. See you guys. Bye. Marcus and I stare at him go, and without another word, turns and leads me with one hand on my back in the opposite direction. Once we turn a corner, I look up at him cheekily. What? You talked about me? Huh? Ugh, don't flatter yourself. I just mentioned that you were coming back to town, that's all. He's avoiding my gaze, his mouth twisting into an embarrassed half smile. Right. I am right, yeah. He sure likes to stay on top, huh? Wait, I mean like in a conversation way, not in a ugh. I know what I meant. He seems nice. Maybe a little too nice. Yeah, too nice. Whoa. Nothing wrong with being too nice. He gives me a you poor fool look. It is if it's Baxter. He's not a bad guy, far from it. He's just... annoying. Like Troy annoying or like Maddie from 5th grade annoying. She used to scream the Pledge of Allegiance and ask everyone to draw on her stomach with Sharpies. Think every Pokemon rival ever if they were 18 and horny. Yikes. Still, he's the one dude that I get along with the best in the team. We come to a stop, and he ceremoniously shows a locker with a lock with the number 303 on it. I gasp and point at myself in flattery. For me? For you, baby girl. He enters the combination and opens it for me. It's empty, of course, except for a slip of paper inside. I take it and it's a bunch of numbers. Your combo. Ah, right. Wait, did you memorize it? Kinda. I had some time to prepare for your, arrival. Why does it sound so fancy when you say it like that? Marcus here was waiting for his princess to arrive, of course. I turn around to see Troy leaning on the lockers behind me. Hey. Yo. He walks over and slings an arm around my shoulder, giving me a squeeze. Getting settled in, huh? Yep, Got my very own locker and everything. Nice. Did your mans get it for you? Yeah, he's got his connections. We both get a laugh out of this, while Marcus just lets out an embarrassed chuckle. By the way, where's Karina? Beats me. I think she hangs out in the cafeteria in the morning. Oh, hope I can see her later. Maybe. She has her own little clique now, though. I see. Don't worry, though. We could definitely hang out. He presses his cheek against mine, hugging me tighter. We could go to the arcade. Really? Totally. You, me, Karina. Maybe not Marcus. He's got practice or whatever. Actually, I got the day off. Coach let me hang out with Cal for today. Oh, special treatment for the star quarterback. He'd do the same for anyone else. Uh-huh. They both stare, or maybe glare, at each other long enough for me to get uncomfortable. So, what's all this about? I gesture between the two of them. Oh, nothing. He hugs me tighter and nods at Marcus. So, you coming then, Marcus? He asks in a sort of mocking tone. Yeah, Marcus, you coming or what? He gives me a don't humor him look and turns to Troy. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm not paying for you though. Fair enough. He says this in a sing-songy way and suddenly gives me a loud, wet kiss on the cheek. Mwah. What? Troy, what the heck? But he's already let me go, making his way to presumably his own locker. See ya. I rub my blushing of his kiss, bewildered by the whole exchange. As weird as always. Yup. Hey, is everything okay between you two Just then the bell rings, like really loud, cutting me off from what I was saying. Ugh, no. Callum, your time has come. Anything but this. He laughs and closes my locker, starting to make his way towards the classroom. Don't worry too much. You'll be fine. I follow close behind, staring at the back of my executor as we head towards the guillotine. Okay, maybe I was exaggerating a little. I did in fact have to present myself in front of the class multiple times. But as embarrassing as it was, no one really stared at me, for too long anyway. There were a lot of people who recognized me, but apart from the casual "hey, and how you been?" the conversation doesn't go further than that. What was actually horrible was the classes. I guess losing the first month of school sure puts you behind, because I was understanding absolutely nothing. Marcus promised that he'd tutor me when he could, but considering how busy everyone says he is, I don't hold my breath. Other than that, though, I had a pretty uneventful first day of school. Feeling proud that I was able to get through my first day without any problems, I'm standing in front of the school, watching as cars pass by every now and then. My hair gets in my face as small gusts of wind breeze by, and I brush it away. It's getting colder lately, I note, and looking around at the orange-colored leaves of the trees, I'm hit with the realization that it's finally autumn. I smile a bit. Good, I hate the heat. My phone vibrates in my pocket, and I take it out to check it. It's a text from Karina. Oh, right, we all exchanged numbers last night before we left the diner. Hey, hon, heard you guys are going to the arcade. I'm babysitting tonight, so I can't make it, but let's hang out tomorrow, just you and me. Oh man, she's not coming. That sucks. We barely talked today. Seems like Troy was right. She's got her own stuff going on. Aw, I miss you. Okay, let's hang soon though. Def, less than 3-3. Less than 3. I put my phone back in my pocket when I hear familiar voices bickering behind me. I turn around and see Marcus and Troy make their way over to me, their voices loud enough for me to hear, but low enough to not make out what they're saying. Marcus has his usual stoic expression though, and Troy has a sort of annoyed, smug look. Once I get close enough though, they quiet down to greet me. Hey Cal, there he is. Troy slings his arm around me like he did this morning, smiling at me. He's very grabby, at least with me, it seems. But it feels so friendly. I kinda like it. Besides, God knows that I've been craving physical contact. So I wrap both my arms around his waist, closing the distance between us. He just smiles more and wraps his other arm around me too, now in an actual hug. Aw, I knew I was your favorite, Callie. You wish. Karina's his obvious favorite. Hey, that's not true. I don't have favorites. You guys are both wrong, but I won't say anything more. There's an awkward silence as I realize what he's implying, but Marcus speaks up before it gets too long. So, are you just gonna hug him, or... Oh, right. I guess it would be weird if I just hug him and not Troy. So I let go of Troy and wrap my arms around Marcus, burying my face in his chest. He wraps one arm around my torso and the other around my head, petting me. I'm in awe at how my hands don't connect behind his back, and again I marvel at just how huge he is. His fingers brush against my ear and it twitches involuntarily. It suddenly hits me that this is a way more intimate hug than the one with Troy. His was friendly and kinda goofy. This is... I pull away and fiddle with my bangs, hoping my hand on my face hides the blush that spreads across my cheeks. Happy? Very. Okay, well, now that that's done with, you guys ready to go? Oh wait, Karina's missing. Oh, she said that she couldn't come, that she's babysitting. Fuck, that's right. Well, let's just go anyway. I'll win her a plush as an apology or something. Good idea. Come on, let's go in my truck. Yes, fuck walking. You get one more fuck. Fuck. That was a good one. Thank you. Cal, come on, don't humor him. Hehehe. After a short car ride with Troy explaining why some anime is a masterpiece, we arrive at the old arcade. It's pretty much exactly as I remember it, if not a little more run down. I take a deep breath and then the memories fill my mind like a flood. Using our allowance to play Street Fighter for hours, collecting tickets to get that Nerf gun, raging at the damn claw machine. I remember David won me a plush for our 1-month anniversary. It must have taken him like an hour and at least $50 to win that for me. Think that I left it at Mom's place though. Ha! Memories. So many. Remember when we finally won that Nerf gun? Oh yeah. We were so happy that day. Who the hell has it anyway? I definitely don't. Troy and I look back at Marcus, who's avoiding looking at us in the eye. Marcus? No. My dad kinda sold it when I failed chem 2 years ago. Dude. You're so dumb. Hey, screw you. You've never gotten a good grade in chem. Or anything for that matter. Bullshit, I'm great at English. Right, you and your manifestos. Yeah, I'm writing one right now. It's called Why the Death of Marcus O'Brien is Justified. Parentheses, he sold our Nerf gun. Tell him, Callum, we can't just let this slide. He needs to pay for this. Don't put him against me. Come on, Cal, you know how my dad is. Don't do this. I don't know. Who should I side with? Eh. I mean, he's right, Troy. Marcus's dad can be pretty intense. Besides, I failed Chem too, and my mom took away my phone for like a month. Yeah, but your mom's crazy, no offense. None taken. Still, he's gotta pay, man. Let's just let him off the hook this one time, okay? We could see this as like a goal to reclaim the stolen Nerf gun, get more tickets, and win a prize. Ugh, you're letting him off the hook way too easy. Cal's being nice because we're friends. Uh huh. I'm gonna go look for that Street Fighter machine. Beat the absolute crap out of you virtually since I can't do it physically. He turns on his heel and makes his way to the back of the arcade where the machine is supposed to be. I start to follow suit when Marcus puts his hand on my shoulder and gives it a squeeze. Thanks, Cal. Thought that I was gonna have to pay or something. I'll treat you to some milkshake sometimes. He gives me a quick wink and walks ahead of me towards Troy. Yeah, he better. Once we're all in front of the machine, Troy and Marcus step up, taking their places as player 1 and player 2. Ready to get your ass whooped? You wish. When have you ever won against? A couple of times. Right. Shut the hell up and choose your character, Marcus. I stand behind them and see that they've chosen the characters that they've always chosen. Callum, place your bets. Who do you think is gonna win? Probably you? Didn't you buy the one on the console? Astute observation, Callum. Yes, I did. We'll see if all that practice paid off then. We shall. And so they begin to play, smashing buttons and dodging each other's hits. That must have all been muscle memory, at least for Marcus. I don't think that they've come back here since like 7th grade. That's around the time that we all stopped coming. I was never good at video games. Even Karina, who barely played, would always end up beating me. I was always sort of a cheerleader for David. He and Marcus would always be neck and neck when it came to skill. Marcus was always really good though. Guess some people are just naturally skilled at things. Fuck. Did you really think that you were gonna win? Fuck you. That's just round 1. The announcer booms that round 2 begins, and they go at it again, furiously mashing buttons. They occasionally curse at each other, Troy bumping into Marcus, Marcus blocking Troy's view. I'm glad that they seem to be having fun with each other. They were never the closest, but I know deep down that they care about each other a whole lot. This whole scene is, again, extremely nostalgic, if not for a few people missing. Even so, I close my eyes and soak in everything with my other senses. The smell of the arcade, Marcus and Troy's yelling, the punching sounds from the game. I make a mental note to ingrain this moment in my memory, hanging out with 2 of my best friends. Shit! My eyes fly open and player 1 wins, screen flashes before me. Bullshit, man. I fucking blocked that. Then why'd you die? 'Cause the game's stupid. It's not the game's fault that you're bad. Marcus turns to me as Troy's grumbling some more, curses under his breath. He gives me a triumphant, proud smile and winks. Never bet on cards, Cal. You'll lose your last dime. Yeah. Guess I underestimated you. As per usual. Callum, come on, play one game with me. What? Troy, you know I'm ass. Yeah, I gotta beat you and get that win high. Hurry up and play with me. With a groan, I step up to the machine with mild reluctance. Might as well throw him a bone. After pretty much 0 to deathing me, Troy is in much higher spirits the rest of the time that we're here. We play a lot more games and even win a considerable amount of tickets, but not enough to get us anything good. So instead, we just sit at a small table eating those sphere ice cream thingies that come out of a vending machine. Have you guys been here at all since I've left? Not really. He gulps down his mouthful. I've got a console and all, so no use coming here. Plus, David and Marcus were always too busy to hang out with me anyways. Really? David too? What was he up to? Well, he was on the team too. The football team? Yeah, he was a captain before he left. Marcus was just promoted, I guess. I don't fucking know how it works. He eats another spoonful of his ice cream and I turn to the silent Marcus. Yeah. When he left, the team held tryouts and I got the spot. They started winning a lot more games once he left too. Funny, isn't it? How he just left as the new season was about to start. He says this in a way that makes me think that he's insinuating something. Marcus gives him a pissed off look. And I think I know better than anyone why, Troy. He uses the same accusatory tone Troy did, making Troy stare at him for an uncomfortably long time. Don't start with me, Marcus. Me? He chuckles dryly and shakes his head, shoving ice cream into his mouth. Yes, you. Why do you blame me for David's shitty habits? I don't know, Troy. Maybe because you had the same shitty habits? He gives Troy a once-over. Or have. I can practically see a chill run through Troy's spine, his eyes seething in quiet rage. Fuck you, Mark. You don't know shit. Marcus just shakes his head. What the fuck? Guys? They both look at me and their angry faces turn apologetic once they see my expression. What was all that? Why the fuck did you have to say that, Marcus? Now he's gonna think that I'm some fucking meth head. Troy. He quickly stands up and makes his way to my side of the table, leaning close to me. Sorry Marcus ruined our day because he's such an asshole, Callum. I was actually having fun with you guys. He straightens up and points at Marcus. This is why I don't fucking hang out with you anymore. Marcus opens his mouth to say something, but Troy's already out the door, the little bell chime echoing inside the mostly empty arcade. We sit there in silence for a moment, our eyes locked on the glass door where Troy exited. I turn to Marcus, whose face is a mask of conflict. He looks over at me and quickly looks away in guilt. After another moment's pass, Marcus lets out a shaky sigh and stands up, making his way towards the exit. Marcus? Come on, Cal. Let's go. I hesitate, but I do stand up and awkwardly follow him out the door, leaving my half-eaten ice cream on the table. Marcus is standing outside waiting for me, leaning on his truck with his arms crossed. He's got that same look of conflict on his face, his ears going flat on his head. Marcus? He looks at me. Are you gonna tell me what happened in there? He swallows and after a moment he gives me a quick nod, clearing his throat. Cal, you know how I said David wasn't in his best state of mind before he left? He speaks low and raspy, as if he doesn't want to say what he's about to say. I just nod. Well, what I meant by that was that he was on drugs. My face goes cold and my heart sinks. None of us noticed at first, but then he started getting these mood swings. He would pick fights with the other guys in the team and almost beat one of them up. He was all over the place, just a complete mess. None of us told the coach about it, but eventually, we decided to tell him. But David left before we were able to. I let his words sit there, replaying them over and over in my head. This seems fake. David? My David? Drugs? Why would he? This doesn't make any sense. What does Troy have to do with all of this? Marcus looks away again, hesitating. Troy started smoking sophomore year. It was relatively harmless, despite how much me and Karina didn't like it. But I think after a while he must have convinced David to smoke with him, because they started getting high together. Troy's dealer must have known or something, because he started selling it to David separately. And pretty soon we realized that he was doing more than just that. I'm shaking my head as I'm listening to all of this. Troy, too? I know it isn't exactly Troy's fault that David started doing drugs, but if he hadn't started smoking in the first place, maybe David wouldn't have. He doesn't finish his thought, his hands balling into fists. I feel like someone just knocked the wind out of me. How can he change so much, into someone that I can't even recognize? How can he change into a complete stranger? Tears well into my eyes and I press the palms of my hands hard into them, seeing bursts of white. Cal, what the fuck, man? I leave for 4 years and you guys start doing drugs? I can't. Why did he? If I hadn't left, would he have? I'm sobbing now and suddenly I'm in his arms, pressed firmly against his chest. Cal, no. No. It's not your fault. You've been through your own shit. This is their problem, not yours. But David wasn't. He wouldn't have. If I was with him, right? I feel him shaking his head, pressing his lips on my head. You don't know that, Cal. I don't know anything, Marcus. I continue to sob as he hugs me tightly, whispering how it isn't my fault, my responsibility. But I'm not listening. Are you sure that you don't want to ride home? I'm mounting on my bike, tears now fully dried, leaving my face a little sticky. Yeah, I'm sure. I kinda want to be alone and, think. He nods solemnly, gripping the handle of his truck's door. Yeah, okay. Cal? Yeah? I'm sorry for not talking to you these past years. I shake my head. No, don't be. We both broke contact. It's not your fault. He nods as if agreeing, then gets inside his truck. I'll see you tomorrow, Cal. Yeah, see you, Marcus. I reach over and give his arm a reassuring squeeze as I smile at him. He smiles back in that warm way that he always does, and with that, he drives away on the empty street. I watch his truck disappear, and once it does, I wipe my face and position my bike in the opposite direction and make my way towards David's house. I stand in front of his house for a good 5 minutes or so. It's just as big as I remember, our usual hangout spot being his backyard when we were kids. As such, David always took the role of leader, like our group was some little gang and he was our boss. I sort of saw myself as a mob boss wife, always protected by everyone, but especially by David, the mob boss in question. But I'm not here to see the boss. He's gone rogue, and no one has a clear answer as to why. And the closest person to him is inside this house. Hopefully. Thinking that I've been standing here long enough for it to be creepy, I take a deep breath and walk up to the porch. With shaky hands, I give 3 small, resounding knocks on the door. After a couple of seconds, that feels like hours, I hear some shuffling inside. Just a minute. I immediately recognize Lupe's high-pitched voice, albeit more mature now. Before I even have time to think about anything, the door swings open inwardly, revealing her small frame in the opening. Can I help you? She stares at me, wide-eyed, her hand gripping the door handle. Hi, Lupe. She throws her body at me with enough force to make me grunt, squeezing me tightly. Callum! Lupe. I hug her back, though not as hard, and softly give her hair a pet. She smells just like him. She pulls away and looks up at me excitedly. Oh my gosh, you're here! Since when? Why didn't anyone tell me? I mean, I just got here yesterday, so... Oh, I have so much to tell you! She lets out an excited squeal, shifting her weight from one leg to the other. As jumpy as ever, I see. Come on inside. She grabs me by the arm and leads me inside, closing the door behind me. Sit wherever, I'll get you some juice. She disappears into the kitchen, leaving me alone in the living room. It's almost exactly the same as I remember it. Apart from a few new picture frames that I don't recognize, it's as if this place was frozen in time. How nice would that be? I take a seat on one of the sofas, running my fingers along the old, soft fabric. I guess it would be pretty nice if everything was frozen in time. Including us. I close my eyes, letting memory after memory seep in. It feels just like yesterday. We were back I open my eyes and watch Lupe walk over to me with a pitcher of what seems to be lemonade and 2 glass cups with floral patterns. She sets them on the table and serves me some juice and then herself, handing me the cup. Thank you. Sitting down next to me on the sofa, but with enough space between us to not be uncomfortable, she takes a small sip from her own glass and smiles at me. You're so big now. Yeah, everyone thinks so. I've missed you so much, Callum. How have you been? She flashes me another sweet smile at me, and a familiar wave of warmth washes over me. It suddenly hits me, now that we've seen each other again and how happy she is, that Lupe is the closest thing that I've ever had to a sibling. Like a little sister. I smile back at her. I really missed you too, Lupe. And I mean it. I've been good. Philly was nice, but I'm really glad that I'm back. Even if it's just for the senior year. She nods, her expression turning sour. Yeah, it kinda sucks that there aren't any good colleges around here for another 60 miles. Yep, but honestly, I think people want to leave this place anyway. At least the teenagers do. Yeah. Oh. I bite my lip, cringing inwardly. Realizing that's exactly what David did, I quickly changed the subject. So, how have you been, Lupe? Pretty good. I'm in the swim team now. Really? That's awesome. Got any medals? Yeah, bronze ones. The girls from the other schools are stupid good. Putas were probably born underwater or something. Sorry. I didn't mean to curse. It's okay. I'm gonna tell your parents. You're older now. It's pretty normal. It's still embarrassing if it's in front of you. Do you even know what a puta is? Kinda? My mom was kinda careful not to curse in front of me as a kid. Isn't it kinda like bitch? Yeah, loosely translated. David would yell that word a lot when he lost in video games, so I assumed that it meant fuck for a while. But then he called some kid a puta for not jumping off the diving board when we went to the community pool that one summer. So I kinda guessed that it was closer to bitch. I mean, it's interchangeable. It could mean both depending on how you use it. Wait, am I seriously talking about Spanish curse words with my little sister? Right. Yeah. I guessed as much. We go quiet, the sound of the Ramirez's grandfather clock ticking away echoing in the living room. Speaking of David. My palms start to get sweaty, and I hold him in my lap. You heard what happened to him, right? I give a small nod. What exactly did you hear? She stares at me expectingly. That he ran away from home? She curses under her breath, bouncing her leg. Why? She goes still and looks at me. Because that's not the truth. A tingling sensation creeps in the back of my head, a cold, prickling feeling. What do you... That's what everyone says. The police, the investigators, the school. Even Marcus and the others believe it. But that's not the truth. It can't be. Lupe. No, I swear. You would never leave without telling anyone. Especially without telling me. Should I tell her about that? Would it cause her more harm to know or give her peace of mind? Fuck it. She's his little sister in hell. She's mine too. She deserves to know. Lupe. I know David was doing drugs, Callum. Hell, I lived with him. Of course I knew. Marcus and the others think that I'm some dumb little kid. They won't talk to me about David or his disappearances because they think that I don't understand. But I'm his sister. I understand better than anyone. It's true that Marcus is known to hide the truth from people. I mean, I'm a front row witness after all. I mean, can you really blame them for wanting to shield you from all this? Yes, I can. They never shield each other from this. It's always me who needs protecting, me who shouldn't have to know about all of this. You guys always tell each other everything. No, we don't. Yes, you do. At least Marcus and Troy always know everything. They tell each other these things? Well, they don't tell me. What? Wait, they don't? They don't? She looks at me as if something clicked inside of her. What? You're the me of that group, aren't you? Huh? You're the youngest, right? Yeah? They don't treat you like a little kid? Like you're supposed to be protected? No, they don't. The mob boss allegory I made earlier flashes through my mind in an instant. I was a mob boss's wife, wasn't I? No, it wasn't quite like that. I was a mob boss's kid. Pampered and protected just like a little kid. Mob bosses' wives are at least respected by the rest of the mob, I realize. I'm right, aren't I? Did they ever tell you when David went missing? I found out yesterday. She's shocked for a moment, then chuckles, devoid of all humor. See? This is exactly what I'm talking about. They don't tell you these things because they think that you can't handle it. In fact, I don't believe for a second that they actually think David ran away. Her voice is harsh, rising in anger. Lupe, do you really think someone did something to him? Yes, that's exactly what I think. David might have been going through a rough time, but he wouldn't just leave without saying goodbye. He wouldn't. I don't know if I should believe her or not. I don't think David would do that, but clearly, I don't know David anymore. Callum, you're the only one who could understand me. Out of the four of you, you were the closest to him. He was your boyfriend, Christ's sake. He's sporadic and sometimes apathetic, but he loves me, and Mama y Papa. And I know he loves you too. I try and swallow the lump that's forming in my throat, but it's no use. Please, at least help me try and figure out what happened to him. I can't talk to the people in his classes, and the guys won't tell me anything. Please just... I want to know the truth, what really happened. I want my brother back. Tears start rolling down her cheeks, her voice drowning out the ticking clock. Before I realize it, I'm hugging her tight, her face buried in my shirt. Whether she reached for me or I reached for her, I don't know. But I hold her the same, petting her like Marcus did to me. I've never really been in this position before, a comforter rather than the one needing comforting. I have been pampered, that's why it was so hard for me to try and make friends when I left. Even now, that we're all grown, they still hide things from me. I look down at the top of Lupe's head, occasionally twitching from her sobbing hiccups. She doesn't deserve this, to not know. She deserves the truth. And I'm gonna find it. Lupe? She whimpers in response. I'll figure out what happened. For you and for me. She doesn't look up but starts sobbing harder, yet quieter. Thank you, Callum. Thank you. Please be safe. I mount my bike, the setting sun shining down, casting a warm orange glow on the town. I'll be fine, don't worry. Lupe standing in the front porch gives me a small nod. Callum? Come to dinner sometime, okay? Invite Marcus and the others too. We could watch a movie and stuff. I smile at her. Of course, we should definitely do that. She smiles back, the enthusiastic energy coming back to her. Good, I'll see you then. Yeah, until then. Oh, yeah, and my dad says hi to your mom and dad. She giggles. I'll be sure to tell them. After one last wave, I pedal away through the dark street. Lupe thinks something happened to David. She confirmed my suspicions, intentionally or not. That he didn't just run away. That the others know more than what they let on. God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But I do know this. I'm figuring out what happened to him. One way or another. And that's where I'm gonna leave it for today. So, that was the first, I guess you could call it, chapter? Act? Whatever. Of When I Knew You. But yeah. So, as promised, this is sort of connected to what it feels like because Baxter is there. And this is the very same Baxter from the story. But this is flirty boy Baxter, as he was known in the past. Please make sure to censor that. Telling myself in the future when I'm editing this. Hopefully I don't end up having the same issues that I had with What It Feels Like, where literally every single episode, regardless of what was being said, was being like flagged. Like seriously. It wasn't even the music. The music wasn't even getting flagged. It was just the video in general. Anyways, so I like the premise of somebody coming back and then seeing that things have changed and then trying to figure out what's different, and then like all of a sudden realizing that one of their friends is missing, but like nobody really knows why, or if they do, that they're not really telling you. Although I will note that I kind of feel that this is more a case of the main character not being able to, what's the word? Not being able to fully take in the fact that everyone has changed, that Marcus has become a jock, a big muscly jock from the nerd that he used to be. Troy is apparently still the same, but he's taller. Karina is now a cheerleader with her own clique. And that David, his ex-boyfriend, is suddenly gone and missing. With like no real explanation as to why. And I'm pretty sure that there is an explanation as to why. Or at the very least, there is a reason that other people are keeping to themselves. But it's sort of like him wanting things to be the same, which I kind of feel that is a running theme with the author's works. With it's something that you see in What It Feels Like, and in this one it appears to be, and even in the little short story that they wrote, the one where it's like, help, I'm the bully's boyfriend now, but I don't want to be the boyfriend. Where they're like, no, I wish things were the same before all this shenanigans started happening, you know? So perhaps this is the case of him, the main character, being like, oh, why are things so different? Like, this can't be it. Like, there must be a reason why people are hiding, like, quote unquote, hiding things from me, or etc., etc. But we'll find out. I think that the story is a little bit longer than the previous one. Well, because I know the other one is going to have 9 chapters. This one has 12. But I think that most of these are not that long compared to the other one, so, you know, we'll see. Anyways, but yeah, so what are your thoughts so far on the story? Do you have any theories? You know, write it down in the comments, like as usual. But yeah, you know, write down in the comments what you think, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play When I Knew You, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page. And considering that the bird site has basically shot itself in the foot, among other things, I will be posting the Blue Sky links from now on, basically, because we're all migrating over there, all the furries at least. So that should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game, or one of the other visual novels that the author has worked on. Or if you want to support them on Patreon, you can do so with the other link, which is down in the description for their Patreon, which should give you early access to builds of the other visual novel, since this one is already done. And all my other links are down in the description as well. My Ko-fi, my Throne, or in case you want to become a channel member and watch these videos as they're uploaded, because I'm recording this on October the 24th, and it's gonna go up soonish. I know that around this time, another visual novel that we're all waiting for is gonna update, so I'm gonna stop recording this one and then record that one, edit that one, upload that one, then continue with this one. So these will probably be uploaded for channel members when I get a good chunk of the story done. So probably by next week. Anyways, but yeah, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah. I guess that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.